Well, this isn't quite how I'd planned my Sunday ride to end. About 6 miles into a trail ride, and something has ripped a big gash in the sidewall of the rear tyre. So I've had a 6-mile ride, now got a 6-mile walk home. Looking on the bright side, I suppose I can count it as a brick session. Hello again, YouTube. Well, here's a video I never thought I'd be making. Those of you who have followed me, especially from the mountain biking side of things, will probably be familiar with a video I made where I fought the Vigilante and took it off the back wheel of the Calibre Triple B. Throughout this video, you may see a tyre that looks very much like a Vigilante going onto a wheel that has a cassette on it and looks very much like the back wheel of my boss nut. Obviously, I wouldn't fit a Vigilante to the back wheel of the boss nut because everyone knows that's the trail boss that goes on there, and you'd have to be some sort of right dick to spend a couple of hours making a video where you put the wrong tyre on the wrong wheel, wouldn't you? And I was mightily proud to have got that tyre off because it has a well-earned reputation for being an absolute bastard to remove. And it was. Here's just a couple of clips from that video. Definitely having the gloves on is helping because I'm getting a lot more purchase and I'm not ripping the skin off my thumbs. And pull up on the rim, not on the spokes. Stand on the tyre in a couple of places and pull up. God. And yes, I know I'm going to have to clean this crap off before I do any tubeless, but yes, WD-40 is the answer. Look at that. Yes, yes. So anyway, having removed it, and being an absolute convert to tubeless, there was no way I ever thought that Vigilante was going back on. But like they say, you have to be open to change, and over the weekend my attitude has completely changed. So basically, as you saw in the intro there, to cut a very long story short, what happened was I went out on the mountain bike for a Sunday ride and I'd got sort of like a 20-miler around the trails planned. And I got about 6 miles into it when suddenly the back tyre just let go. Now, some of that was my own fault because I stopped to take a photograph, and as many of my cycling buddies have often observed, I really should spend more time riding and less time taking photographs. But, you know, whatever. So anyway, I leant the bike up against, there was like a sluice gate thing on the trail. I live in a very marshy sort of area. And I just leant it against this like concrete plinth with a steel framework around it, and suddenly the back tyre completely let go. And after spinning it like you do with the tubeless to try and seal it up, it was clear that nothing was going to seal it. And after a little bit further investigation, it became clear that the reason it wasn't going to seal was that the split was in the sidewall. Now, at that point, I could have just simply whipped the tyre off and put a tube in it. But I was still clinging to the notion that the tyre might be repairable. And I said to myself, you know what? I really don't want to be going down the route of disturbing a tubeless valve that's been in there that long. And, you know, I've had problems with them before resealing. I was 6 miles from home. It was a Sunday morning. It was a nice morning. What are you going to do? I had to walk home. So anyway, after getting home, I did a bit more investigation, and here's what I found. Yesterday I was riding the bike, and I just stopped to take a picture actually, and the rear tyre just suddenly and uncontrollably deflated. And after a good look at it on the trail, I found that split there. So I don't know if that's clearer without a light on it. Let me just turn the power down on this a little bit. Okay, so after a good look around, I came across that there. So hoping that's staying in focus. And it wouldn't seal up on the trail. Sod's Law has dictated that after a night deflated in the garage, it has decided to stay up. So having admitted that I am a real fan of Tubeless, the thought of going back to a conventional inner tube, which on the mountain bike I was puncturing them all the time, really didn't appeal. So I was looking for kind of a halfway house, and I was aware of these Slime Smart tubes. Now basically these are just a mountain bike inner tube that are full of slime sealant, and that to me seems like the perfect halfway house, because you get the benefit of Tubeless in that you've got the pneumatic part of the tyre is full of sealant, but equally you've got the convenience of an inner tube. And also, you know, one of the other things that I didn't want to do was take this apart at the side of the trail and just get covered in sealant that's coming out of it. We all know, you know, if you've taken off a tubeless tyre before, you know how messy that is. And, you know, that would have just made a bad Sunday ride even worse. So what I thought is I'm going to try these slime inner tubes. Now, at the moment, the bike is running tubeless on both wheels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this slime inner tube in the rear and leave the front running tubeless, because it's perfectly intact at the moment. It's not hurting anyone, and it will give me hopefully a good comparison of having two different types of tyre fitted to the bike, one fully tubeless and one this sort of what I'd call hybrid solution with a smart tube fitted to it. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how we go with this. Now I do know that these kind of get very mixed reviews. People love them or hate them, it seems. It seems that people ride thousands and thousands of miles without a puncture, and other people get punctures straight out of the box. So that's going to be interesting. One of the things I have noticed is everyone that tests it on YouTube tends to test it unsupported. And what I mean by that is they just take the tube and pump the tube up. Now, to my mind, that doesn't actually work, because this thing is designed to be enclosed within a tyre. And if you think about it, if you get a puncture, you're giving it a much better fighting chance of sealing the puncture, because the wall of the tube is right up against the wall of the tyre. There's a much smaller gap for air to escape through. And in any case, you know, the tube is going to deform less than it is in open air, where, well, if you've ever inflated an inner tube outside of a tyre, you'll know what I mean by that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to whack this in the bike this evening, and yeah, like I say, hopefully over the next couple of months I'm going to test this to see how it goes. Now this is in no way me getting down on Tubeless, because I do absolutely love Tubeless technology. But I think the one thing that I found on Sunday is Tubeless is great whilst it's great, but there's going to be that one time where you get that one failure that's going to leave you stranded. Now, okay, I do, as I say, I accept. On Sunday I was only 6 miles from home. I was in a pretty chilled mood. It was quite a nice morning and I fancied a walk, so I had a walk home. But, you know, if I'd have been into a longer trail ride, or even, you know, if I'd have been bike packing or something like that, you could have found yourself in a real fix. Obviously, in that situation, I would have just suffered, got on with it, swapped the tube out, put a tube into the Maxxis tyre and run with that. But I think for me, somebody who only ever rides the mountain bike recreationally and locally, that's where I think I find the shortcoming of Tubeless. Now, Sunday, like I say, you know, was a bit of an exceptional situation, because it was Sunday, you know, I didn't need to be anywhere. But a lot of my riding is done before work, as I've observed, or these days after work. And usually I've got somewhere to be. I've got to, if it's in the morning, if I manage to get out in the morning, I've got to be in to get working. And obviously if it's in the evening, I need to be back before my good lady puts dinner on the table. So in those cases, you know, I just want a solution that's really going to work for me. And I think with going with the hybrid solution there, with the smart tube, that really would give me the option, because, you know, if I'd have had one of those in there on Sunday, even if I couldn't get that thing to seal up, I'd have just whipped it out, put another in the tube, and I'd have been going again in sort of 10-15 minutes. And yeah, thanks for watching this one, YouTube. A little shorter than I'm used to, but like I say, I'm going to hopefully keep up the upload schedule now going forward. Catch you in the next one.